This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Old Kiwi Farm. But before that, this video is brought to you by Mark Bauer and Jack B. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Old Kiwi Farm can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now let's read a little bit of the description. Welcome to Old Kiwi Farm. Here you'll find 52 small to medium odd-shaped fields that are worker-friendly. An easy place to start farming on several average fields. This map has quite a bit of detail wherever you look. This is an old feel to it. It is loosely based on where I grew up in Hawke's Bay, and I invite you here to try it out and see if you like it. The BGA animal dealer and sell points are old and gives you the feel of being a kid running around. This map is seasons ready and precision farming ready. It has custom license plate. It has placeable areas spread all over the map and is going to be good for you in single player or in multiplayer. Let's go ahead and load on in. Now we are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at map set is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Pay no heed to production revamp. That is going to be used in a later map video that is going to be for PC players. Let's go ahead and pull up the log. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in Farm Manager or start from scratch, the main farm will be completely barren of buildings, with the exception of one structure, or should I say two structures, and all of the fencing. But all of the other buildings around the farm do not exist. You also do not own any machinery at the start in Farm Manager or start from scratch, as well as not owning any land. And here we are, loaded on in. Let's go ahead and take a look at that PDA. And if we zoom out, you're going to see that we have right here in our starting farm area, we own the starting farm, which is 11.9 acres in size and can be bought for $79,000. We also own field 44. Field 44, which is 1.94 hectares in size, and field 52, which is 1.83 hectares in size. Now, there are placeable areas scattered around the map, and there's one right here below field 49, which is $23,800. One over here by field 4, which is $29,285. We have one down here to the south by field 11, which is $41,000. We also have one over here by field 48, which is $29,000. There are other areas that you can buy. In fact, you can buy lots of these sell point areas. Here we can buy the typical unbuyable areas. These are most of the sell points. $129,000. You can buy those and then do other things like put down other placeables or decorate those up however you should so wish. Now, this map does include all of the standard crop types available to us here in Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at our farmland lease screen, we're going to basically see the buyable farm lands, how big those farmlands are, and if they include fields, the numbers of the fields that they include, and then how much those farmlands are going to cost us. So I'm just going to go ahead and slowly scroll through this list. At any time, you can pause the video and take a closer look at the individual farm lands, how big they are, what fields they include, and how much they are going to cost you. Now, if we look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us all of the actual fields and the actual field sizes. And you can cross-reference the farm lands with the field numbers by taking a look at the farmland lease screen to then you have a general idea of how much it's going to cost you to buy any one particular field. Now let's go ahead and take a look and see how this soil map does get applied to Old Kiwi Farms. And while the description says custom precision farming ready, this is, and the log states as such, this is the generic soil map that does come with precision farming. So if it is intended to have a custom soil map, something is not quite right in the coding, because precision farming is pulling up the generic soil map that is included with the precision farming mod. But as you can see, the fields that we own, we have a good chunk of silty clay and a little bit of loam on field 44. Field 52 is mostly loam and sandy loam, but you can see how we have a big swath of silty clay down here to the south, a nice mix of loam and sandy loam here, and in the west, south, center area of the map. And then a good chunk of the western edge is loam and silty clay. If we take a look at our crop counter, you'll see that we do have a standard base game crop counter here on the map. And if we look at our prices screen, you will see that we do have the ability to sell, no, not everything. In fact, we have 3 things that we can't sell, 2 of which are going to deduct points off of the total score. But we can't sell olives. We can grow olives, but we can't sell them. And we also do not have the ability to sell fabric when we get down to our production screens. We do have the ability to sell all of our animal outputs, silage, hay, straw, and grass. But as we get down here to our production, you will see that we do not have the ability to sell fabric as the map is presented to us. We also do not have the ability to sell stones as the map is presented to us. So if you are going to play with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone crusher. We do have a bulk lime buy point, but no stone buy point. You will see that there are all owned equipment. It is all new. None of it is leased. We'll take a closer look at our starting equipment here in a little bit. There are 3 animal areas at the main farm, but we do not have any animals at the start. We do have contracts on the map, but we just do not have any listed at the moment. And we do not own any production chains. And guess what, everybody? We do have 100 Elm Creek collectibles available on the map. So go get your treasure hunt on, because you've got a lot of collectibles to go hunt down. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Klaas Arion 610 and the Buer 6105. That has been a rather popular starting tractor as of late, with a New Holland T7 275 HD medium tractor, the CH7.70 New Holland Harvester that is paired up with the Superflex 25-foot grain header, and the 980 CR 830 corn header. Now, as far as header trailers go, we are equipped with the Nardi N40BX header trailer. We have the EcoMat plow. We also have the Rabe EG39 cultivator, the Amazon KG3001 power harrow, and the Companion 3000 super seeder. We have the Agrimaz Falcon 3 planter, the Amazon ZA-TS 3200 fertilize spreader. Then we have a small front mower, the F240, a little old 2.4 meter front mower. We have the Alpine Hit 4.4H tedder. Then we have a small top 342 windrower. We have the Boss Alpine 251 forage wagon. And then, oddly enough, we go with the big boy. We have the LB 436 HD baler. So we go from having fairly small mowing, windrowing, and tedding equipment to this massive square baler. We do have a modded liquid tanker here that is going to work with various liquids. We have milk, water, diesel, DEF, liquid fertilizer, herbicide, slurry, digestate, grape juice, and sunflower oil will work in this particular trailer. We have the Klaas FL140 front loader arms, and then we have the universal bucket and bale spike. And then we round it all out with a 750 kilogram front weight. Now, since we have one mod that is tied to the farm, let's go see if we have any others. We do indeed. We have the Joskins Aquatrans that we do start out with. We also have the DK280RL trailer and the DK301 RP trailer. They are equipped, I guess, to hold a bulk product. Not really sure what the main difference between these are. Oh, right here. They have ridiculously high capacities. You can get this with normal capacity of 15 cubic meters, or ludicrous capacity at 250 cubic meters. Then we also have the same here with this trailer. We have normal capacity at 15 cubic meters, ludicrous capacity at 250, and then a little more or less reasonable capacity at 60 cubic meters, 30 cubic meters, and then back down to normal. We have a potato header that is equipped to run at 12 miles per hour at 4 meters, a beet header at 12 miles per hour and 4 meters. And then we have the Tiger 6S harvester that is going to be used for both of those headers. And well, once again, the ludicrous capacity has struck again. We have a default capacity of 43,000 cubic meters worth of, or cubic liters, cubic, whatever, 43,000 liters worth of product. Or we could go with the absolute ludicrous capacity of 1,000 liters, 100,000 liters, I guess I should say, 172,000 liters, 86,000 liters, or maybe it's just 1 million. I don't know. It's basically ludicrous, is what it is. It's ludicrous capacity. With that, let's go ahead and, well, take a look around the farm. So when we load the map up, we start here on the front porch of our farmhouse. We do have a sleep trigger. We can sell the farmhouse. We can also sell the sheds over here. We have our chicken coop. Chickens are set up to be 30 chickens in this particular coop. So we have our food trough, our buy point, our egg point for our chickens. Got some large sheds here with lights. At least I hope they have lights. They have a light switch. I can't seem to activate said light switch. Any rate, we have sheds. Both of these buildings can be sold. A flagpole, all the fence, and this liquid storage tank. These things are permanent. They cannot be sold. And in fact, this storage tank does not function either. If you walk up here to the wrench, you should have the ability to buy product. But you can see we do not have the ability to buy anything. So I believe that the XML on this is coded slightly wrong. And as a result, it's one, doesn't function in Farm Manager Start from Scratch or any other play mode. And two, we cannot sell it. Whereas we can sell pretty much every other building. We've got our water trigger and our modded water trailer. We have a modded old looking silo. Once again, the fences here, the gates here, they are all stuck. They cannot be sold, but we can sell all of the other buildings that we are about to take a look at. So we have our base game horse, or not horse, but cow pasture. 500 cows, though, in this particular facility, so the capacity has been upped quite a bit. We have our food trough, our straw trigger, and this is the auto-feeding robot version of the building. We'll just hop over the fence here, and we have our sheep area, so we have our wool spawn point. We have our food trough, our water trough, and our buy point for our sheep. 200 sheep will go in this particular facility. Once again, we have our fence. We do have a bulk buy point here for liquid fertilizer, seed, lime, and such. We have a workshop trigger located right here. We can sell both of these. We have a large machine shed den with the rest of our machinery inside. Then we have a pretty decent area over here for the addition of other things that you can place down here at the main farm. Now, speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look here at the build mode and see what is included with the map. So under sheds, we do have the ability to put down our mega open sheds, our big closed shed. We have our workshop trigger, and then under silos, we have our modded 5 million liter capacity old silo system. Under containers, we have our chemical and seed buy point. But you'll notice we do not have this liquid storage tank. Again, I think it's because the XML coding is not quite right. And that's why we do not have the ability to sell this, nor do we have the ability to buy it or actually make use of it. No tools. We do have the ability to buy and put down our kind of older school looking farmhouse. We have a stone crusher that makes lime and fertilizer. And boy, this is a massive, massive structure. In fact, I'm just going to move over here where we have a placeable area. And this is going to take stone and it's going to produce lime and, well, it looks like fertilizer as outputs. Expect to sell points, greenhouses, orchards, and money generators. All standard stuff. We do have the ability to put down our 500 cow modded cow barn with feeding robot. We also have our custom 200 sheep animal pen that we can put down. We have our custom chicken pasture that we can put down that holds 30 chickens. And then everything else should be pretty much standard Farm Sim 22 delivered. Take a look at our ground textures. We don't have a whole lot of ground textures to work with here, and a pretty standard plants with respect to putting those down. Now let's go ahead and get set up for the fly run. We're going to fly around the map and take a look at it from above. We'll come back to the vehicle shop, get in our Mahindra, and then drive around to all of the production points and the sell points. As we are kind of doing our 360 perspective look here, let's go ahead and talk about the production. We have 7 production areas built into the map. We have a sawmill, we have a dairy, sugar mill, grape processing unit, a grain mill, carpentry, and a spinnery. We also have the custom stone crusher that will make lime and solid fertilizer that we could also place. I kind of wish that we had that facility pre-placed, because remember, stones were one of the 3 things that we could not sell on the map. And while we do not typically take points off for not being able to process stones, we will note that fact, but we won't necessarily take points off for that fact. We will be taking a 1/4 of a point off because we do not have the ability to sell olives or fabric. Now, of course, you could put a mod down that lets you sell anything. But you know what? You really shouldn't, in my opinion, have to put a mod down in order to sell something on a map that you can grow. And that's why we do deduct a little bit of points. So here we have our grain mill. Across the river, we have our grape processing center. And then we'll go ahead and kind of follow the road a little bit. We have our sugar mill. We have a sell point. But here we have our carpentry and a biomass heating plant. And again, you could buy this and then put additional facilities down over here. We have another grain sell point located right here. We have our dairy. We swing back up to the river. And then we have a bale sell point here along the river. Right past the road's bend, we have a fuel point. We have our vehicle shop, which is right across the river from the main farm there. Then as we continue down, we have a grocery store sell point. We have our animal dealer. We also have another sell point located right there. Along the western edge of the map, we have our sawmill. And we have one more point of interest down here by field 34. And I would tell you what it is, but honestly, I have forgotten. So with respect to can the farms be customized, we're going to knock off another quarter of a point there because of the fact that we have seemingly an issue or an error with that liquid storage tank. It's there. We can't use it. We can't get rid of it. It's just kind of taking up space at this point. I would also like to see us have the ability to sell the fencing so we could completely redo the main farm if we wanted. Right now, the sheep area is encased in fencing that is going to be permanent on the map at this point. And I would like to see us have the ability to get rid of the flagpole again, so we have that ultimate flexibility with respect to customizing the main farm. And that's why we're knocking off a quarter of a point there. So let's head on back to our shop, get our Mahindra, and then drive around and finish talking about the final 2 points of contention with respect to our scoring system. Let's see how we score this map overall. I'd be curious how you all score the map on your own. So here we have our vehicle shop. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. We've got a pretty decent sized area here for vehicles to spawn in at, which is good. Now, this being a standard size map, the fields aren't overly large, but the map will, to some degree, support fairly large machinery traveling around the roads and working the fields. We have our dealer trigger here. This is our customized repair, sell, trade, and repaint trigger. All right, let's head on out here. And as I said, the map is fairly friendly for wide stuff. We've got a pretty wide area here to get out on the road with. Got our fuel trigger. Once again, people driving on the wrong side of the road. So we have our bale sell point located right here. Pretty easy to get in and out of there. Let's head on over here and check out these sell points. We'll take a little inside look as we drive around. Now the map is fairly flat, but it isn't flat. So you're not going to have too much of a problem driving around with maybe slightly underpowered vehicles to run larger machinery because of the mostly flat nature of the fields. But at the same time, the fields do have a little bit of elevation change to just give you a little bit of kind of pique your interest and keep yourself attentive. Here we have the carpentry shop. We've got our log drop off. We have our wood cell trigger. We have our interactive trigger here at the side door. And as always, we have our pallet point in the back. We have our biomass heating plant, which once again we have the ability to drop off logs. In our wood cell trigger, we also have the ability to sell wood chips. We'll make our way up here and then work our way back down the street. So we've got pretty adequate road structure off the main road, so there is no traffic on this particular area, so we won't really have to deal with that with large vehicles and machinery. So we have our grape dump point, our interactive trigger, our grape and raisin pallet spawn point. Bridges are fairly wide. I mean, you're not going to be coming through here with a massive grain header already attached to the harvester, but you shouldn't have too much trouble with most machinery. We have our grain mill. Once again, we have fairly easy in and out access for semis or possible road train trailers. We have our pallet spawn point. We have our dump station, and we have our interactive trigger at the door. We have our sugar mill, so we have our pallet spawn point around the back. We have our dump point right here, right off the main road. We have our interactive icon, also around the back. Our grain cell point, it's here along the main road. Hey, these maps with their backwards traffic. Now, this river has 4 main crossings. So you will have to get to one of 4 different points to cross the river. We're making our way right now to southernmost river crossing in order to get to the sawmill. We have said sawmill, so we have our wood chip point. We have our plank pallet spawn point, our interactive trigger, our log dump station and wood cell trigger. We also have the ability to sell our logs here in the water, where we have a magical Jesus deer. Walk on water deer. You have seen it here. You have seen everything. So you can dump your logs in the water and then go sell them over there at the sawmill. basically across the street from that bridge, we have a grocery store sell point with its dump station. Now, with respect to, are the buildings using the new texture technique, brown textures and the such, I will say that the buildings outside of the main farm are indeed. Some of the placeable buildings, some of the sheds that are at the main farm are not using that new technique. So we will give the map, once again, 3/4 of a point in that regard. So here we have a sell point. Let's go ahead and see what this one is named. Napier Warehouse Market. It seems to be set up the same way as Johnson's Farmers Market on Elm Creek. We have our animal dealer right there. Then just a few more points of interest. One of the large placeable areas that I mentioned that are scattered around the map. There are a few areas of forestry also available here. One up by field 19 and 4, then one just south of field 51, right by where the sawmill is located. So while we have deducted 1/4 of a point from 3 different categories, that is still just 3/4 of a point down overall. The map is hitting on lots of our review criteria. It's just missing just a little bit here and there. So we have our spinnery over here to the left. Wool spawn point. We have our drop point for our fabric spawn point, which we can't sell. We're gonna have to put down a tailor in order to be able to process said fabric from the spinnery, and there should be enough room to squeeze one in here, or there is a placeable area just on the other side of that field there that you could put a tailor down. So we do have the fabric spawn point, the cotton and wool drop off, but again, we are missing the ability to sell that fabric, which is one of the criteria, and again, one of those 3 review levels that we did deduct 1/4 of a point. So you could put a tailor here in this large placeable area. You can lots of production over here should you so wish, or in multiplayer this could be a player buildable area. We have another grain sell point located right here. So with respect to the final metric, our player and interactive triggers clearly marked. We're going to go ahead and give the map a full point there. So that is going to give the map in its entirety a score of 4.25 out of 5. So where it really missed out is it missed out just so slightly without the ability to sell fabrics and olives. If we had the ability to sell fabric and olives, a full point there. We missed out ever so slightly because we couldn't sell the fencing. We had that liquid tanker or tank that was just there. We couldn't interact with it. We couldn't sell it. We can't place it down. If those things were fixed and we could get rid of the flagpole also for ultimate flexibility, full point there. Buildings are appropriate. There's a few sheds at the main farm that are not using the new texture technique. Quarter point there. That is really where the map went from a full 5 to a 4.25. Does that mean the map's not playable? By no stretch of the imagination. No, it does not mean that. Does that mean I don't like the map? No. My likes don't fall into this at all. Just means that it's missed a few points with respect to the score. So here at the dairy, we have our interactive. At the front door, we have our drop-off. And then we have our pallet spawn point. So guys, let me know what you all think down in the comments below for the old Kiwi farm. Hopefully the map will get an update very, very soon to, at the very least, fix that liquid fertilizer tanker so that you can indeed make use of it, hopefully be able to sell it, and definitely, hopefully be able to put a new one down again, should you so wish. And until next time, happy farming. Where do I pull in here? Well, I'll tell you, this placeable area doesn't have a pull-in lane.